The year 1066 stands as a pivotal moment in English history, indelibly marked by the Battle of Hastings, a clash that fundamentally reshaped the nation's culture, language, and political landscape, and cemented the reign of William, Duke of Normandy, later known as William the Conqueror. To understand the significance of Hastings, one must delve into the complex web of succession disputes and familial rivalries that plagued England and Normandy in the preceding years. Edward the Confessor, King of England, died childless in January 1066, leaving a precarious situation regarding the throne. Several claimants emerged, each believing they held a legitimate right to succeed him, leading to a tense and uncertain political climate. Harold Godwinson, a powerful English nobleman, was quickly crowned king by the Witan, the Council of Elders, capitalizing on the vacuum of power. However, Harold's claim was immediately challenged by William, Duke of Normandy, who asserted that Edward had previously promised him the English throne. William based his claim on several sources, including alleged testimonies from Edward's advisors and the supposed grant of Normandy to William in return for support against rebellion. Furthermore, Harold Godwinson himself had reportedly sworn an oath of fealty to William, promising to support his claim to the throne, an oath William later used to devastating effect. Simultaneously, Harald Hardrada, the King of Norway, also laid claim to the English throne based on a dubious agreement made with a previous English king, Canute the Great. The Norman Duke, an ambitious and skilled military leader, meticulously prepared for an invasion of England. Gathering a formidable army and navy, he appealed to Pope Alexander II for support, skillfully framing the invasion as a holy crusade to liberate England from what he portrayed as unjust rule. William's invasion fleet, consisting of hundreds of ships, assembled at Saint-Valery-sur-Somme, a strategic port in Normandy. While waiting for favorable weather conditions, William faced delays due to persistent storms and unfavorable winds, testing the patience and resolve of his troops. Meanwhile, Harold Godwinson was dealing with a separate threat from the north, as Harold Hardrada landed in Yorkshire with a large Viking army. Harold swiftly marched his army north to confront the Vikings, demonstrating remarkable speed and efficiency. The Battle of Stamford Bridge, fought on September 25th, 1066, proved to be a decisive victory for Harold and his English forces. Hardrada and his elite Varangian Guard were killed, and the Viking invasion effectively ended, though at a significant cost to Harold's army. Harold's victory, however, left his army depleted and exhausted, and he raced south to face the impending Norman invasion, having to march his weary troops over 200 miles in a matter of weeks. William's fleet finally sailed for England in late September, taking advantage of favorable winds that carried them across the English Channel. They landed unopposed at Pevensey, on the south coast of England, on September 28, 1066, allowing William to establish a secure base of operation. Harold, having just defeated the Vikings, had to make a crucial decision: to remain in the north to consolidate his victory, or to march south to confront the Norman threat. He chose to march south, gathering as many troops as he could, but his army was likely smaller and less well equipped than William's. The two armies converged near Hastings, and the Battle of Hastings commenced on October 14. 1066, a clash that would determine the fate of England. The English army, primarily composed of infantry and archers, formed a shield wall on Senlac Hill, a strong defensive position. The Norman army, a more diverse force, included knights on horseback, infantry, and archers, providing tactical flexibility. The battle began with a Norman archery barrage, aimed at weakening the English shield wall. The English shield wall held firm, absorbing the initial impact of the Norman attack, but casualties began to mount. The Norman knights then charged the English lines, attempting to break through the shield wall with their superior armor and weaponry. Initially, the English shield wall proved resilient, repelling the Norman cavalry charges. But the constant pressure began to tell. Rumors spread among the English that Harold had fallen, causing some to break ranks and flee, disrupting the defensive line. William, recognizing the opportunity, ordered his archers to focus on the gaps in the shield wall and his knights to exploit the disorder. A cunning Norman tactic involved feigned retreats, luring English troops out of the shield wall to be cut down by waiting Norman soldiers. Harold, attempting to rally his troops, was reportedly killed by an arrow to the eye, a blow that fatally undermined English morale. With their king dead and their lines collapsing, the English army was routed, and the Battle of Hastings ended in a decisive Norman victory. William, triumphant but weary, marched towards London, consolidating his control over the conquered territory. The Norman conquest of England had begun, fundamentally altering the course of English history and culture. William was crowned King of England on Christmas Day 1066 at Westminster Abbey, solidifying his rule. He embarked on a program of systematic reform, replacing English nobles with Norman ones, implementing feudalism, and introducing Norman French as the language of the court. The Domesday Book, a comprehensive survey of England's land and resources, was commissioned to facilitate taxation and ensure Norman control. The Battle of Hastings was more than just a military victory. It was a watershed moment that irreversibly transformed England into a Norman kingdom. The Norman conquest brought about profound changes in English law, language, architecture, and social structure, leaving an enduring legacy that continues to shape the nation today.